Hello everyone, welcome to another video. Today I wanted to talk about something that only very recently I discovered by watching a video of Ty, which is a professional player, Brian Main. I'm sure you watched some of his matches in tournaments. He's really good. But he basically explained how to instantly transitions into a full crouch position if you're using a character with a crouch dash animation, vertical forward motion. And of course it is the case of Dragunov, it is the case of Brian, he plays Brian. And personally I didn't know about this, even in Tekken 7 I never heard about this. I mean, sure, I knew about the Mishima's crouch dash cancel, that was a thing, of course I knew about that, but I didn't know that you could do something very similar with characters with a regular vertical forward motion. And I actually feel sorry because someone asked this in my comment section at some point. He asked me about instant full crouch with Dragunov. I said you can't really do that, you have to manually go into crouch and then you have to do this, right? You can't, there is no real way to instantly go into full crouch. And technically it's true, but there is a way to quickly access to full crouch by doing a very tricky command. And the way to do this is basically you want to do a crouch dash forward, a vertical forward. You want to do the first two inputs, down, forward, and then you want to immediately cancel that with a down, back. So you do down, forward, and then you cancel that with down, back. And as you can see, Dragunov immediately goes into full crouch. And then after that, look at the command history, you press down, forward, 1. In the case of Dragunov, you want to go with down, forward, 1, 4, full crouch, down, forward, 1, 4. So you will do something like this. Fucked up? Something like this. As you can see, you can barely notice Dragunov. You don't see Dragunov going into full crouch, which is the biggest thing about this technique. When you go manually into full crouch and you try to do this, if the opponent is sharp, he realizes, okay, he's going into full crouch and he's trying to do full crouch down forward 1, 4. Sure, you can mix him up with mids, which is usually what we do. But it is good to have an option like this. You can barely see Dragunov. You know, you see him twitching and then he immediately goes into full crouch. Immediately. So, it's not that complicated. However, as you probably some of you already noticed, I'm using an arcade stick to do this. Because when you try to do this on a pad, it is insanely clunky. And I sincerely believe there is no real way to do this. And I mean, you can land this in practice mode, maybe sometimes in a real match as well, but it's not something that you can do consistently, and it's not something that can give you a real advantage, a real edge over your opponent, especially, you know, in a stressful situation or in a tournament. Now I'm gonna switch to the pad just to give you an idea. However, I have to remap the control scheme. Where is it? Let me remap this quickly. Here we go. Okay. Unfortunately, when you switch to a pad, this becomes much more complicated to do. Yeah, I'm landing it, but it is insanely difficult. It's much more difficult than doing it on an arcade stick, and you will get blisters, I think, after a while practicing this. But the principle is the same: down, forward, and you try to cancel by pressing down, back, and then you go the other way, down, forward, and then you press 1, 4. It is doable. I mean, it is possible to do in practice mode. I'm wondering how consistent this would be in a real match, you know, and how many frames do you waste trying to do this instead of just doing this. But unfortunately, it's much more complicated on pad. If you're playing on an arcade stick or you're playing on a keyboard or a mix box, this could be much more accessible. Unfortunately, it's still one of the situations where, depending on the peripheral you're using, you might have an edge, you might have an advantage, depending on what you're trying to accomplish. It really reminds me, now finally they fixed this, now we can sidestep from full crouch on both sides, but it reminds me of when people with mix boxes and the keyboards, they could sidestep both sides, and if you were playing an arcade stick and you're playing on a pad, you couldn't do that. Unfortunately, it kind of reminds me of that. It is more clunky and it doesn't feel really reliable to do. On a pad, it feels way more reliable and fast on an arcade stick for sure. But as you probably already know, I really like to play on pad. So, but I just wanted to show you this interesting technique to you guys, because some of you asked me in the comment section about this, and I felt a little bit sorry because that I was misinformed, or I didn't know. It's just not that I was misinformed, but I didn't know that this was a thing. I guess like in Tekken 7 I never heard about this. Sure, like I said, I heard about the crouch dash cancel with Mishimas. I guess it's because now with Tekken 8 we're getting a lot of full crouch stuff. So people are kind of trying to find ways to access the full crouch more quickly. I don't know, it could be. But to be honest, there's not much else I can say about this. It is a pretty quick video. It's not really that complicated, like I said. But it depends on the peripheral you're using. If you're playing on a pad, it could be a little bit more difficult. I wish, like, if this becomes a thing in tournaments, like you see people doing this stuff all the time, and it becomes like an integral part of the game plan of a character, I hope they address this somehow with the patches. Maybe make it a little bit easier to do. I know it lowers like skill expression or something, but I think you shouldn't be punished for preferring a pad over an arcade stick or vice versa. I think it should be, it should just be a matter of personal preference. You shouldn't have an advantage just because you prefer to play on arcade stick or on a pad. But whatever, it's fine. I just wanted to show this to you guys. But now I'm gonna end the video. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and take care.